everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. This is going to be fun, as always. So I just want to say, really quickly, a huge thank you to you guys for watching, for subscribing, and for just engaging in the discussion threads in these videos. It's been a lot of fun just hanging out in the comment section, reading what you guys have had to say, questions, and just sort of chatting with you there. Really, really appreciate it. So on today's show, we're going to look at one aspect of vinyl that is a necessity, but sometimes not talked about as much, and that is accessories. You have to accessorize your life, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of fun. Now, what's really cool about what we're looking at today is from a new company, and it's both. It's the necessity side and the fun side, or for me, both are the fun side. And it's going to be colorful, it's going to be interesting, and I can't wait to check these products out. You're not going to want to miss this.
Welcome to Record-ology.
So let's say that you just happen to get a brand new copy of Rubber Soul. First, congratulations. This is a fantastic album. Second, before you go schlepping this into your record collection, there's a couple things you need to consider. And that, my friends, is the gateway to the first round of products that we're going to look at today. And that is protecting the record. Now, you may be saying, yeah, I know the sleeves, you're supposed to replace the sleeves. This one actually isn't a bad sleeve. I'm going to gently take out the beautiful and pristine 180 gram thick vinyl record. Parlophone. Beautiful, love it. And when I look at this sleeve, this is good. This is actually a good, and that's why it's still in it. This is actually a reasonable quality poly-lined sleeve that these come with. And, I would not feel totally averse to, leaving a record in something like this. It will reasonably protect it. However, if you have a sleeve that is just paper, look out, because it can actually scratch your records. Am I serious? Yes, I am, and let me show you specifically what I'm talking about. So back in about 2015, before I started this channel, and I was just getting back into records, I purchased my first new record, and that was Wizard of Oz. As you can see right there, got it from Barnes & Noble, got it home, I had a paper sleeve. I didn't know hardly anything at the time, pulled the record out, and I was like, what the heck? It's got scratches. It's a brand new record. How can it have scratches? Scuffs and stuff. Now, let me see if I can actually capture this on camera. It's visible to the naked eye. There's one, see if I can catch it in the light. There's one like right in here, like a patch of scuffs. And that's literally just the paper sleeve doing its nasty bidding on this, what was a beautiful, pristine, brand new record. So that's a good example of the importance of getting yourself a quality inner sleeve. At a minimum, a poly-lined paper sleeve like we looked at, but ideally you want a high quality sleeve that I'm going to show you next. Introducing TAKMORK 12-inch record inner sleeves. This is a 50 pack, and I've never reviewed this, I've never seen these, but I'm excited to do just that with you now, and hopefully this will be a good quality inner sleeve. We have reviewed other inner sleeves on the channel before. It says they're premium master sleeves, 50 inner record sleeves, and along here you can see archival quality, non-scratching, acid-free, archival quality, non-scratching, acid-free, archival quality, non-scratching, and acid-free. So that ought to be good, and don't do dumb stuff with a plastic bag. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we're dealing with here. All right, so here is one. Compared to others, it feels thinner, but it feels like it's definitely going to be a step up in the right direction. I love the arrows to make sure you know where the top is. The white is usually like an acid-free rice paper or something like that. This does not advertise rice paper, so we'll assume it's not rice paper, but it's all like a super soft plastic. And yeah, I see no reason to think this wouldn't be a good inner sleeve. Obviously, time will tell, but let's take our beautiful, albeit slightly dusty, copy of Rubber Soul. Make sure that the basics are in place here, like it actually fits. This is a thick 180 gram pressing, so, okay. Ooh, that's a little tight. That is a little tight, but it wasn't too tight. It fits in there pretty snugly. So yeah, it just fits a 12-inch, 180-gram record. Now, if you had a super thick, like 200-gram record, that would probably be even more snug. Also, another thing about, time will tell is, are these consistently cut? Are they going to match one another so that, you know what I mean? You don't have like a tight one or a loose one. Okay, so what I like to do is insert the sleeve in the jacket so that the top is up there. Now, some people like putting the opening where the opening on the jacket is so they can just slide the record out. Obviously, the risk there is that you're just inviting dust to come right in the side, whereas this method makes sure that the dust won't have a little bit of a harder time getting in there because the opening to the jacket's here and the opening to the sleeve is up there. So you may be saying, okay, great, fine, we're done, moving on. No, you're not done yet. You need to talk about an outer sleeve. Why is an outer sleeve important? When I was getting into the Beatles and I didn't know where to start, you guys pointed me towards the Red and Blue albums, and which was the perfect place to start. If you are similarly wanting to get into big band music, Glenn Miller in particular, and you may laugh at that or raise your eyebrows, but I've actually had people reach out to me and say, where do I start with Glenn Miller? This is probably one of the best albums to start with. This is Glenn Miller, A Memorial. It may sound morbid, but it's actually a wonderful, wonderful celebration of, a lot of his music catalog. The keen eye may wonder, what, 1969? Glenn Miller went missing in 1944. So, that's this date. So what happened between there and there? And no, it's not anything to do with the orchestras that continued with his name into the 50s and 60s. It literally is just when the record was released, 1969. Interesting choice. I personally wouldn't have done that. Beautiful gatefold record, and I love this. Great mono. This is one of the first 60s eras RCA Miller recordings or records to not have fake stereo. This is true Victor mono. But I digress. We're not here to look at a Glenn Miller record, although that's a worthy thing to do. We're here to look at record jacket wear. As you can see, we've got a painfully obvious circle here. And that is the shape of a record. And why is that shape of a record on the outside of this jacket? That's because this particular record sleeve was not protected. It was probably slid in and out, in and out, in and out of a bin or a shelf for years and years and years. And it formed what we call ring wear, which is the outer edge, the thicker edge, the raised edge of the record being the highest point, created the most pressure when it was slid in and out of the shelf for years and years and years. How do you prevent that? Well, there's a product for that. Didn't think I could talk about accessories this much, did you? The old timers will know. They'll be like, oh yeah, you can talk for hours about anything. Enter the TAKMORK brand 12-inch record outer sleeves, another 50-pack, high-density polypropylene. I wonder if that's anything like polypropylene glycol, which is in Dr. Pepper, which is also antifreeze, I think. Interesting. Single and double LP, so you can fit a double LP in here. 3 mil thickness. Yeah, sounds good. Again, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and see if it is a good example. These both seem to open on the bottom, which is a little bit odd, but see what we got. This is really hard to appreciate on camera. Yeah, it's plastic, yay. A little cloudy, but they all seem to be that way. From a distance, if you look at something from a distance, you can notice that cloudiness. Look at the writing on there. But then when you put it straight on it, it's pretty much clear. So there's not much to this. So blink and you'll miss it. It takes more time to find the opening. Which side is the opening? Always the last one that I try. I've tried 8 sides now. Okay, so we're going to gently insert the record into the sleeve. And voila, our record is now protected. And as this slides in and out, it will wear, if anything, this. And these are a lot cheaper and easier to replace than the actual record itself. So I highly, highly recommend these. I do keep these open to the edge because the way I, think about it in my own mind is that the dust protection is being done with the inner sleeve. So this gives you the protection of this. If you really wanted to be, you could put the opening anywhere. You could put the opening in the top, bottom, but that's the way to do it. All right, those are inner and outer sleeves and why you two should have them in your collection. But what was the fun thing I was talking about? And here we have 4 identical 12-inch acrylic turntable slip mats. Just kidding, they're not identical. There is a key difference, which you already know because you saw the thumbnail. But hey, I've got to make this interesting, right? So we're going to get into this in a minute. These are acrylic slip mats. These go on a full-size platter, not on a cruiser, not on an all-in-one wooden unit. They would be totally unnecessary on those. This is for a full-size turntable platter. And why do you want an acrylic slip mat? Acrylic is arguably, because this is all subjective, a very good material to have as a slip mat. It's rigid, which may be saying, why shouldn't it be a soft, sort of mushy, flexible material? A lot of people think that the rigid materials are the best for slip mats that will protect your record, but at the same time, not absorb and diminish the sonic qualities of the vinyl record. So the thought is that a rigid acrylic slip mat will give you tighter bass response and just an overall better sound quality. I myself love acrylic slip mats. I use them every day. All right, so here is the back. It says sleek and modern look. No more scratchy white noise. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Tighter bass response, like I said. An epic gift for audiophiles. We carefully select materials and design a simple, beautiful, and functional appearance. Sincerely hope you will enjoy using them. All right, sounds good. This is, which color is this? This is the orange one. So let's go ahead and open this up. Ooh, what a cool way to add color. Oh, look at that. It just catches the light. That, my friends, looks like it's emitting light, but it's really just refracting light. And it comes in its own slip case there. This is absolutely gorgeous. What an appearance. Okay, so the edges are pretty sharp, not like going to cut you sharp, but they're not rounded. There is an inset here, which is frosted. The inset is for the label because a lot of 12-inch records have a protruding label, which is by design. Look up our video on Groove Guard if you ever want to find out about that. But yeah, that is so pretty. I love that. That's going to look fantastic. And yes, we're going to demo these visually so you can see what they look like on an actual turntable. And let's get into the next one. Man, that thing is just so bright. I think they need to redesign the artwork on these because it just doesn't let you know how beautiful that color is. Wow. So as bright as that is, this looks like the lights are turned off. It's the same thing but clear. But that's cool too. Like a totally, well, it's frosted there. I was going to say a non-frosted clear slip mat. Something else to consider about clear slip mats is that if the platter itself doesn't look that, beautiful, then obviously you're going to be looking straight through it versus at like a slip mat with decorations. Next we have one in a, these are color. This is really nostalgic to me because these are the colors of the 90s. Oh, look at this. I had so many like pencils and, trapper keepers and things with these types of neon colors. This is the flip side. So it's smooth on one side and then it is recessed on the other. Again, this one is just like glowing with color. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is the green, even though I would call this more of a yellow. They call that the green. So we have clear, orange, green, and let's see what this one is. It's kind of fun just to see what you get. Okay, this will be white. Is there no... Weird. There's like no... This one just didn't have a sleeve inside. Okay. Yeah, it's a white acrylic, which is actually what I've got in place right now on the turntable that I'm going to demo for you. Not this exact model or make, but it is the same type. So again, these are really good. I think they sound good. The rigid surface does not damage anything. It really is fun to look at more visually than anything. If you've got a white turntable like that white LP3 that I had and you put this on it, man, it just makes it look uniform. It's like a body match on a car where you've got the trim that matches the body color. It's so cool. So next, let's look at these on a record player. Which record player should we use? I've got a good idea. Ah, yes, the beautiful and majestic Pioneer PLX 500. Now, I've got an existing white acrylic mat on here because, again, body match color. I think it looks fantastic. But let's go ahead and take this one off. And I am going to... Wow, that's a tight fit. Pay no attention to how tight of a fit that is. All right, I am going to rank these ones that we just reviewed in order, my favorite colors, least to most favorite color. And we're going to start, and I should say they're all cool. I don't dislike any of them. But let's start with the clear one. Now, that is very cool, but like I said, the downside is you can see everything that's going on in the platter, which necessarily, or not necessarily, a cool sight to behold. As you can see there, there's gaps, there's openings, so that's why that one's not my absolute favorite. And you may be like, well, couldn't you stack them, put a white one under that? That would not be a good idea because it would just get too thick, and that would throw the vertical tracking angle off and whatnot. Next up is dun, 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 the white one. You may be saying, wait a minute, I thought that was the favorite. And that one's a tight fit too. It is, I think, from the standpoint of body matching colors, but I'm really liking these bright ones. So I'm cautiously optimistic that I'm going to like those on here even better. But yeah, that looks slick to me. That looks cool. It's a little different white than the body color on this, but always, in my opinion, always use the indented side up so that if you do have a record with a protruding label, it keeps everything flat. And if it doesn't have a protruding label, then it doesn't really matter. Now, on the flip side, you may be saying, well, you could use that to test your anti-skate. I wouldn't recommend doing that because if you do that method, it will scratch it up. I have tried that in the past, and it will leave a noticeable groove where it's carving up the once smooth surface of the platter mat. So I would not recommend doing that. Much better to do a one-sided record than an acrylic platter mat because these are softer than vinyl when it comes to that needle dragging through, and it actually leaves a groove behind. Now, my favorite color is orange, so you may think that orange would be my number one, but no, it's my second. That looks amazing. That looks really cool. And the white of the plinth and the chassis, it goes with everything, right? So you can put any color on here and it looks good. That's phenomenal. That is gorgeous. If you had somehow had a cartridge with some orange in it too, and it's not so clear that you can see right down into the gaps in the platter and whatnot, I think that looks cool. Again, it catches the sunlight and refracts it through the edge. So I really dig that sort of light emitting effect. These are not as exciting at night for obvious reasons. However, you could rig up something with some external lights and get a good effect as well. And yes, my number one has got to be this thing. Oh, it's just so cool. My favorite sort of neon color. I will say this, though. This one is more clear than the orange, so you are seeing stuff down there. But once you get a record on there, you're just going to see this ring of cool green light. So let's test it out with a record. Now, the effect is somewhat diminished by the fact that the light coming in the top isn't as strong, therefore there's not as much light to refract. That being said, it is still cool. It is still cool. Now, I'm just talking about these things visually. If you want to hear what an acrylic platter mat sounds like, it is a very, very minimal difference. It's not going to be like a night and day thing, but if you want to hear the sonic properties of that, search platter mats on our channel, and you're going to see videos where we compared side by side all the different platter mat materials. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it. Links down below if you're interested, but mostly a huge thank you to you for being here today, watching this video, and for hanging out with us on this journey, going 6-7 years now. Whew, can't believe it. Going on since 2017. Just enjoying together all the aspects of record collecting, of record players, of tapes, of CDs, of all sorts of technology. And we've got so much more planned, including another video tomorrow that you're not going to want to miss. Anyway, my friends, that's it for today. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.